So it is 3:40 at February 24. It's a Friday, thankfully. And today I more want to talk about working with mental health conditions and sort of my story on accommodations for my university as a PhD student. And I understand that accommodations look different depending on the disability, depending on the campus, and depending on what rules they have already set on their code of conduct. But all in all, I don't really see people talking about it. I know that everyone I've talked to about my accommodations are surprised. I mean, the punchline of that that I get double absences and unlimited extensions to all my homework assignments up to 3 days. That's a pretty big deal. And not an accommodation I usually allow myself to have. I've only used it twice for my 6 semesters at Northeastern so far, and every semester I go through this process of I need to take advantage of these accommodations. I need more time to do homework. And especially this past week, I only went to class once, and that was today, and that was 2 hours ago. And I was 40 minutes late. There's a lot of things to balance when it comes to your own mental health conditions and what sort of challenges that introduces, but also the resources available to accommodate for that. So, to get to the point of having unlimited homework extensions and uh, I'm dozing off already. Um, and what's it called? Double absences. There we go. The path to get there was not as challenging for me, but I know coming in from scratch is going to be a bit of a challenge because I've already known people who don't like therapy, and unfortunately in my experience I've had to hop around a lot because I mean specifically with my campus, they changed partners. They changed who is providing the therapy. I know it was BetterHelp. Before it BetterHelp, it was iHope, and right now it's something I don't remember, but I just know that for a second time in my Northeastern life alone, I had to change therapists, and that's not a step I wanted to take again, especially since bringing everything up from the beginning and introducing the ideas and the challenges that I have to this new therapist is not something that I want to deal with right now. So actually currently I don't even have a therapist, and this is the longest I've had without a therapist since I was 14. So this is what I mean by coming in from scratch. Like I do not go into therapy from scratch. I've had years of therapy leading up to my application to the DRC, but I know for my campus, I mean, whether you take it with a grain of salt or not, this is all coming from the top of my head. But to at least get the diagnosis that I needed, which was major depression, which led to the accommodation of led to my accommodations. Well, you need 6 months of therapy in order to get that diagnosis. And if you're coming in from scratch, you need to start those 6 months from the time you first reach out to disability resource centers. So that's a bit of a challenge, especially for people who don't like therapy at all. And that I've met plenty of people who have those feelings, and I completely understand them. And in the context of accommodations, that is a necessary step in order to get the diagnosis for the accommodation. Now, just reflecting on this past week, I know I'm still kind of getting back into it because if I'm going to be honest, this is going to be right now, this video is the fourth time I'm speaking at all this week. I did not speak Tuesday, I did not speak at all Wednesday, and there were a few opportunities the past 3 days where I wanted to talk. It's not that I couldn't talk, I just didn't want to. The physical work of talking, the physical work or the mental work of thinking, it was all very overwhelming, and my sensory overload was pretty up there. Even if I was just staying in my own space the entire week. Again, I haven't talked all week, but I also haven't attended classes all week. Today was the first day I actually attended class, and again, I was 40 minutes late because, and this goes for all the rest of the days this past week. Every time I woke up, I was like, no, no, I, no. Like as much as I like to say more, on the reason why, all that came to my head was no, not getting up, not doing the thing that I said I was going to do today. I'm going to stay right here. And this happens multiple times per day because I always set an alarm approximately an hour before all of my classes. And if my classes start a little bit later, like today it started at 1:30, I would set an 11 a.m. alarm because that then at least it gives me a hard cap on when I should sleep, which is 3 a.m. Now, do I follow this all the time? No. Last night I went to sleep closer to 4 a.m. And for one night, I unfortunately discovered in a very addicting game, and it provided me that very easy low energy dopamine release. And one day I didn't go to sleep until closer to 9 a.m. and then I went to sleep, and I mean I had an 11 a.m. class that day, and I I just I went to sleep at 9. I was like, okay, let me hope I wake up at 11, and I didn't. Well, I did, but I said no again. And the context as to why I keep saying no, again, it really falls around the physical pain of moving, talking, thinking. All those things are things that are too overwhelming to even do. Um, and of course, that's the reason why I have these accommodations. But as I noted before, I only use them twice, and I should use them more. Actually, as of right now, I only sent, in terms of the process on how these accommodations work, every semester you send an email to the professor. It's an automated email. You go through a portal, click a button that says, what do you want to do? Send notification letter of your accommodations. And you just click as a bullet point each of the professors you want to send it to. And as someone who also has generalized anxiety disorder, I always manage a way to work around what is actually pretty simple to do. I just have to click a button. I don't even have to have a conversation. I don't even have to send the email directly to these professors. And some of them already know of the fact that I have accommodations, that I have mental health conditions, but I still don't send the email. And I'm still trying to figure out why that is, but I as of right now, I only sent the email to one professor because at the time of sending emails, I could have easily clicked the two other professors that I have this semester, but I just didn't because in my head, I'm like, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to add something onto their plate in the middle of the semester when I should have sent this in the beginning. And so this cycle continues where I stress about doing something and then I don't do it, and then I keep stressing about not doing it. I'm hoping right after this I send that email. Well, at least click. I don't know. I'm not even sending an email. I'm just clicking buttons. Hopefully, I do after this little video session. But I don't know. This past week has been interesting. It's been a return to some of my antisocial sort of episodes where again because of the act of talking being painful and discomforting, um I just I there's at that point for me there is no point to be in class if I am not going to be there anyways. I am not, because even talking is going to be hurting. What about writing notes? What about paying attention? Like all those things, all those factors are not there. And the reason why I have these accommodations in the first place, but it's something that my accommodations can't always accommodate for, because missing an entire week of class is not exactly the most responsible. It's not exactly the most. Um, like in general, like in order to break out of these cycles, you have to really push yourself, and sometimes the hard work that you have to do is just going outside. And I mean, as you could probably imagine, for the past few days, I couldn't do that hard work, and I'm not gonna beat myself down on that. But it's it doesn't hurt to keep what consistency looks like in here. I know that I'm currently working on that, and you know, I one step is like sending that email. Playing the responsibilities that currently um I'm currently responsible for. And I it's as somebody who dissociates a lot, like right now, just thinking about like the scale of responsibilities that I have as a PhD student, it's not something I beat myself down on, because if I can't talk, I can't talk. If I can't move, I can't move. There's nothing I could really do about that. So finding that balance of forgiving myself but also keeping in mind what that consistency is to strive for, to set the standard of what the hard work looks like every day, then when the time does come, like today, well, not entirely, I'm still kind of brain foggy, but in the days that I can do the things that I set myself out to do, the days that I can just hash everything out, because it's not like I'm in my sixth semester of my PhD. It's not like I'm failing. It's not like I am not meeting the requirements to stay within this program. And I could apply that to a lot of different things, like my leadership role. I keep after the past three meetings, I keep saying I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and provide this information for my committee, but I haven't. And even today, I feel a bit squeamish trying to think about doing that, even if it is just sending a message, even if it is just sending a document. I guess this is the typical term for burnout, but it's I wanted to at least put out there my perspective of what working with mental health conditions is like, um, within the context of requesting accommodations, because there is a lot to unpack there. There's a lot of conversation to be had that's not being had because of the topic of therapy. And thankfully, BetterHelp is sponsoring everybody on YouTube. There is a lot of different opportunities out there now. Expensive still, but it's a balancing act of what you can and can't do every day. So I guess for that, I'll close it off. But even as I sort of trail off, as my mind trails off onto the next thing that it may or may not think about, I don't know. I just wish for um, yeah, I'm gonna just end it there. I'm already dissociating. But until next time, I know it's been over a week since my last video, but you know, as I said, I do these when I feel the desire to, and me and my anhedonic self, desire is a bit of is a threshold that's a bit too high for me to reach a lot of the time. So until next time, uh, tell me what you did around February 24th at 3:50 p.m. Go for it. Well, until next time.